Hi everyone, it's me Darlene. I'm at my machine and I just got a couple of auctions ready, so I thought, well, why don't I do a Crumb chat and I can show the couple of things that I just listed. Well, they're ready to be listed. I have to wait till the video is done first so I can get the link to the video to put in the listings. And I decided, I know it's kind of silly, in the last video I did some little 4 patches and told you that can be the beginning of crumb blocks. And, you know, I kind of intended on making crumb blocks, but then I just left them. And so one of the videos is just these 6 4 patches, and you can take them home and you can build around them. And I want to remind you that you can cut these. I'll show you in a minute. A little bit of threads there. Those are the 6. And you can always like cut these. Like you could cut it here. I'm trying to show you. Why is it so bright in my screen? You could cut it here and here if you wanted to. And these pieces, you know what you could actually do? Those pieces would be loose, but you could fold this. Well, you match up those 2 edges like that. Sew there. And then just cut here somewhere. It doesn't have to be even. And then cut here. And then, so that would be cut. This would be sewn. And then you would end up with 2. I don't know if you can imagine that. You know what I could do? I can actually like do that. Not with these, but I'll show you what I'm talking about in this video, because I really don't have much of an idea of what I'm going to be doing, but I just know I need to be here. So I'll show you an example of what I'm talking about, and the bidding starts at 1 penny, free shipping for USA. Outside USA would have to pay shipping. And that's just one of the auctions. I do have other auctions up and running also. There's going to be something for you guys to look at. And then I just felt like taking strips out of this bag. This is probably the wrong bag. Long strips, it says. Like this. You know, just a lot of these are the whole width of the fabric. You can tell they're very thready. And I took a whole bunch of them and I just sewed them together. And then I trimmed this piece. And I thought I was going to cut it, but I said, no, I'm going to put this on eBay also, just like this. And I think it's like 16 wide by 12. And it was very crooked because the strips were not the same length. So I have like this, and I'm saving that for me, and a piece like this. And then I even was able to save a little tiny piece like this. And I just wanted to remind you that, see, you could like just cut something out of this. It doesn't even have to be all the way. You could just cut some pieces. And then when you have something cut, this can even be cut into strips. But I don't cut into strips first. I would just lay something down and sew and then trim. But you can add this into so many crumb blocks. And I'm going to probably show you an example of what I'm talking about in this video too. So maybe today, tonight's video will be just showing you some stuff. But so this is up for grabs also. Starts at a penny, free shipping for USA, same old, same old. So go check those out. I will have the link to my auctions in the description of this video. Okay, so let me set up a little 4 patch and I'll show you what I'm talking about, how you can sew the 2 sides together and then end up with 2 blocks. I would have liked this to be a little bit wider, but I just put together this 4 patch. And now I'm going to just put these edges together. Doesn't have to be centered or anything. I'm just going to match those up as best as I can, and I'm going to sew right there. Not situated the way I want to be. And then we can't open that now. I'm going to just take my scissors and I'm going to cut here. And I'm also going to cut there. Like that. So now we have 2 pieces out of 1. And there's still 4 patches. Let me press them. See? They're cute. Now, they're all the same, 4 colors, but that doesn't matter. But you can just do stuff like this and put these things like in your crumb box, in your crumb box, in your crumb box. You can just make little different things like this. So again, you've got this like this, and you would just, I don't know why, I don't know. I don't have my camera set up the way, I don't know, it's very, very bright for me. You have the 4 patch, you're just going to match up these edges. And sew. And then you would cut here, and then it would open up, and then you would cut the other side, and it gives you 2 4 patches instead of 1 big 4 patch, like that. Okay, now I want to show you what you can do with these weird strip sets. I was going to play with some of these blocks that I have in a bag that are already started. They're bigger, they've been started for a while. You can tell I'm big on the strip sets. But let's take this little 3 patch. Let's use this one. It's a little bit scrappier. And these, that strip set piece that I showed you, it's thready. Let me show you. Just want to make sure you know what you're getting. It's pretty thready on the back side. I didn't trim those strips. And some of those threads come through. You can just snip them off. You can trim them off the back. I didn't want to work too hard on this. I just had fun putting that together. And you can deal with the rest of the mess. Okay, so I will probably not even trim this either. Strip set. Now, I could add this to this and then just cut anywhere I want, but I like to add to this side. So let's see, this is big enough. I'm going to just, let me even this up a little bit, and then that's pretty even. I'm just going to leave it like that. So I'm just going to, I'll just lay this down. Doesn't matter what is on top or down. And I'm going to put this here, and then I'm just going to sew. I sew first, and then I cut after. And I'm going to just press this open. And now if you had something else that you wanted to add to there, you wouldn't have to cut yet until you know how much you need. So let me try to find something and I'll give you an example, show you an example. I think you need to go for, oh, that's so much better. Hang on. Okay, let's say I have a piece like this and I want to add to it. I've created something now long enough that it could go here. But if I would have trimmed it right away, I wouldn't know. But now I know. So I'm just going to lay this down. I'm going to work on this side. I don't even care. Well, sometimes you guys care that I'm not cutting it even. You can trim it. So I've got a pretty even line there. Doesn't have to be perfect. And now I'm going to take this guy, I'm going to turn it upside down or face down, and I'm going to just sew it onto that other piece. I'm going to press this open. As your pieces get bigger, you need to create your own strips in different lengths, unless you just want to keep going around and around with just long strips, but then that's not crummy. We want crummy. So now, see, all I have to do is I'm going to follow this line. I don't have to follow that line. I could trim that like this if I want. But for now, I'm going to just trim this like this. And of course, I did not do that great of a job. And now I'm going to trim this here to go along with this line. Now this is messy down here, so I could trim here, and I think I will. Let me just trim that. It's okay to create a little bit of waste. Now look, we added this, all of this to this. Huh? See how quick and easy that was? So that's what you can do with that big piece, or you can create your own big strip sets. They don't have to be that wide. You know, strip sets about like this are pretty good, but I do like them wide sometimes. Then you can put this edge on something. I really like this. I think that just came out really good. And now I have still like a little piece like this that I can add to, and I also had, like I said, this little piece that I can add to. So it's all good and it's all fun. All right, so is there anything in particular that I want to start? Oh yeah, I wanted to work a little bit on some of these. That's a little bit actually too big, like for me to sell, but if I wanted to, I could just cut it right here, right there, and I could make this one and this one. So I'll just think about that. Let's, okay, this is just something that I had before. Let me show you again. I've done this many times, but I'm going to do it again. So I'm just going to take a strip, some kind of a strip. How about we start with this? And I like that that's wonky, but let's just make a straight edge. I'm going to leave that other end wonky. So I just want to show you, again, you take a strip and you put it down, and, you know, not going in the same direction as these. We want it this way, not parallel. We want perpendicular. Isn't that what it is? Perpendicular? I think so. And I'm just going to sew and come off that strip. And then I'm just going to push back and press. And then at this point, again, I could do what we just did. I could find some place that I'd like to put this. Like, see, I could put it there. Well, this is just like really, really cool. So, but I don't want to add to this because I don't know what I want to do with that yet. So what you can do though, just straighten that out. And then you can just cut anywhere, and you can cut a little bit at an angle if you want. See? That's why these strip sets come in so handy. You didn't have to sew all these little pieces together. You just already have them sewn together, and then you just use them like that. And let's see if I do it at an angle. Do I want to use the same strip? Let's use a different strip. Now I like this kind of wide, and it doesn't have to be a strip. It can just be a regular size piece of fabric. I don't know if you could hear me. I'm going to just follow this at the angle. See how it's cut at an angle? Like that, at an angle. So I'm just going to lay this down at an angle. Let's just chop this part off a little bit. Let's see, I want to make sure if yeah, that'll be good. Okay, and I'm just going to sew. And I'm going to leave a little bit of excess because it's funny when you're with at an angle, you need to have enough, I don't know, it's hard to explain. You think you have enough, but then when you flip it out, you don't. Oh, I do like. Okay, let me press that. And I'm just going to follow this line. And I will follow the line this way too. Toss that. And we have this, which is pretty cool. I could cut at an angle if I want, or I could cut at an angle that way. How about we do that? Like the letter A. Let's just cut like that. Oh my goodness. I like so much. Alright, so there's so much you can do with strip sets. I'm actually going to stop because I want to get this up and get the other auctions up, and then I'm just going to probably come back and do some sewing. I'm actually working on my 2-inch squares for the king size quilt. I have not given up on that. I am now creating 32 patches. I got all the 16 patches done. It's going to go quick now. But anyway, I'm going to spend some of my evening sewing, but I wanted to come in with a crumb chat. I really like these pieces very much. I'm telling you, get addicted to strip sets. And I sell a lot of Scrappy strips in my auctions, so just keep watching all the time. I'm trying to get more up per week, and I haven't missed in over a year. I mean, there was a time that probably 3 or 4 years that I never missed a day, but then I would start missing here and there. But I'm back to not missing. There's almost always something, unless something ends during the day, but then I have something else coming out a little bit later. But every day there should be something. And I hope you enjoy, and go do some crumb quilting. Okay? Thanks so much for watching. Please subscribe. I'll be back with more soon. Bye.